Welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll show you tips and tricks for result evaluation and printout report. My name is Andreas Hörold. I'm responsible for marketing and public relations in the company Dlubal Software. For instance, the German and English webinars, customer projects, technical content of the website, and so on. I will be the moderator today and I will answer your questions during the webinar. My colleague, Michelle Rosin, will do the presentation. She's also responsible for marketing and public relations, also customer projects, content of the website, and so on. Okay, then I say some words how you can ask questions. At first I switch off my webcam that you can see the full screen. If you have a question, just press that button with the question mark, then enter your question in that field, press send, and I will receive your question and I will answer you. The other way is to watch the entire webinar and then email your questions to info@dlubal.com. Okay, that's for the moment all from my side, and I hand over to Michelle. Michelle, it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Andreas, for the introduction. And also from my side, welcome to today's webinar. I'd like to continue with the agenda for today. The first topic for today are tips and tricks for the evaluation of the results. Here I'd like to show you the solver flow diagram, the result table manager, the result sections, and also result diagrams for the several sections, and some more. The second part of the webinar will be about tips and tricks for the printout report. Here I'd like to show you the multi-print, how to import templates, and how to print the part lists, and some more functions. Now I'd like to jump in the program. Here you can see the model for today. It's a reinforced concrete ceiling with a joist and a balcony. For a better overview, I'd like to hide the reinforcement. I already did the calculation for this model. And the first thing I'd like to show you is the solver flow diagram. You can find it in the result table. It shows you what was calculated in which order, and shows you the dependencies of the several steps and how long the individual steps took. This can help to recognize problems in the calculation process and to identify problems with your hardware or to change something in the settings of the program. The next thing I would show you is the export to an Excel table. You can also find it in the result table here, and when you click on the button, your file browser will open, but we don't save it yet. First, I'd like to show you the result table manager. Here you can display and adjust the filter properties of the result table. It's also interesting with regard to the printout report, because by default the properties are taken from this result table, and if you can't find something in the printout report later, you can also look in the table manager to see under which headline it's assigned. You can also filter the displays in the result table. For example, when you just check or uncheck the fields. And on the right side, you can also see many more filter settings to adjust. For example, you can also display only certain values and set the criteria here. But we uncheck it. You can also make your own templates. For example, when you click on create new set, you can make a template for your further project for the result tables. The next thing I'd like to show you is how to search for special objects in the model. This is especially interesting when you have larger projects, because you can lose the overview of your members or notes or something else. And for example, you can go to the navigator data and right click on the object you want to search and click on find. Then a red arrow appears here and shows on the object you selected. You can also search the objects in the result table. For example, when we go like results by node, you can click on the node or the object you want to search, and then also the red arrow appears in the model. Next, I'd like to show you the result sections. For this, we go to the navigator data under result objects and click with our right mouse button on the result sections and click on new result section. We have the possibility to define our section by 2 points and a vector or a line. Today we choose 2 points and a vector and can select our points here. The direction is the Z direction, that's correct, and I go to apply. Okay, and then we see our section 1 here. If we want to create another section, we can double click on section 1 and go on create new object and create our second section. Okay, now we have 2 sections, and we can also see our results here, but we don't want to see the global deformations. We can, for example, select our internal forces now and show it on one section or also on both sections at the same time. But I'd like to show you the values for the reinforcement on the sections. We go only on section 1, and we can also click on value on surface and select current selection. Then we can see the values for the reinforcement at the different points. Next, I'd like to show you the result diagrams. You can also select your sections here and check what you want to see here. You can also overlap the numbers so you have a better overview. You can also overlay your result sections when you type in this field 1 and 2 for the section numbers. And as you can see here, you have now both sections overlaid. This can be very helpful to compare the different sections with each other. And again, you have many settings for the display properties here. You can select which items or values should be shown or not. And you can also define the colors, etc. for your screen and for your printout report separately. And the red line here indicates that the area of the surface cannot be calculated. Okay, the next thing I'd like to show you is the display of the results on surfaces. Maybe we go to the deformations to see it a bit better. Therefore, you click on Calculate and Without Smoothing. Here you can select how the results should be shown on the surface. For example, you can click on Constant on Mesh Elements. This is very common for steel design. And yeah, you have many other setting options here. We leave it by the default display option. Okay. Another tip I'd like to give you is to reset all settings on Dlubal Standard. This is very helpful if you have big models and you cannot find some items or something else and they are like gone. You can click anywhere in the display navigator and click here on Dlubal Standard to set everything back. Next thing I'd like to show you is how you can only display certain results. Therefore, I activate the control panel, and by the slider you can define which values you want to see or not. You can also click here to show, for example, only the extreme values. I'd like to see all values for now. And that was already the first part of the webinar for the evaluation of the results. And now I'd like to go on with the printout report. Therefore, we go back to our Navigator data and right-click on the printout reports and click on New Printout Report. Here you can check and uncheck all items you want to see in your printout report. You can also load from templates here at this button. There are predefined templates, for example, for concrete design, steel design, etc. Today we choose the first option. Here you can also create your own templates by clicking on this button. Yes. Okay. If we click now on Save and Show, we create our printout report. This could take a few seconds. Okay, the report opens on my other display, and here we can see our report. Now I'd like to show you how to create a multiprint and also edit it afterwards. For this, at first we want to create a view. We go on the Navigator Views to create our view. We'd like to see our sections in our but not the deformations. We go back on the navigator views and click on create new view. We call it section 1. Now we create another view for section 2. And here we have both views. If you want to change something here, it's no problem. You can also rotate your model and click on the view with the right mouse button and click on redefine. Then you can see your view changed. But we'd like to see this, so I click on redefine, and now we should have both sections. To print it in the printout report, you can go to the printer sign here and click on the black arrow here and select print graphics to printout report. And then in window to print, you select multi-print. As you can see, some more tabs are open here, so you can define which graphics you want to see in your model. Predefined are always the model and the loads. But we don't want to see the model itself. So we uncheck it. We don't want to see the loads. We don't want to see the results. We want to see our concrete design, especially our reinforcements. So we select our user-defined views for section 1 and section 2 and go here on the reinforcement and select all items we want to see. As we can see, we have 9 pictures now. That's too much. We just want to see 6 because we have 2 views and 3 selections on this side. This is because we have also selected the current view. We uncheck it and now we have 6 pictures. That's correct. Now we go back to the General tab. And we can see that we have only one section on the whole page, but we want to have all 3 views of the required reinforcement for one section on one page. So we go to graphic picture size and rotation and click on high and change this from 100 to 30%. And click on update here. Okay, now you can see we have the 3 pictures on one page. We also want to delete the color scale here. We can do it when we scroll down to color scale and uncheck it here. Okay, and now we can click on Save and Show. And the graphics will appear in our printout report here. Okay, but now the question how we can edit the multiprint. Therefore, we click this button, Edit Multiprint, and choose our print. Then our multi-print manager opens again. And as you can see, you have a new tab here. It's Image Actions. Here you can see all the created images and choose if you want to update them, or you can also choose no action. This is helpful if you adjust things in the general settings, but you don't want them to be applied to the already existing images. For example, we want now to remove 2 images. We want only show 1 top and 1 bottom reinforcement. So we have only 4 images now. Now we go back to the General tab and click on Update. As you can see, we only have 2 pictures for section 1 now and 2 for section 2. And we can just adjust our height again to 58%, so we have both pictures for the section on one page. Yes, and if we, for example, go back to the image action, we can see that we have removed 2 pictures. And for example, I choose no action for the graphics of section 2 and go back to the general settings and choose color grayscale, for example, and click on OK. And open my printout report again. Here you can see we have only 4 pictures now, and I click on Update. Yeah, as you can see, the pictures we updated are now in gray, and the pictures for which we select no action are still in colors. But as you can see here as well, the height is still on 30% here. I think that's because I updated both in one step. So we go on Edit Multiprint again. And click on the 50% again and OK. And go back to our printout report again and update it. So now it should be 50% and is gray as these pictures as well, because the grayscale was already selected from the settings before, and we updated all pictures now. One thing regarding the multi-prints, which is requested very often, is to tile or to sort the pictures next to each other vertically. It's not possible via the multi-print selection, but therefore we go back to our model and choose the view we want to see, like this. We want to see not the deformation, but for example, the required reinforcement, like this. For the reinforcement, it's also very helpful to show the values on the surface. This is already selected here. But now I want to rotate my view. I can do it by rotating the model, but that's not very accurate, so I go to View, select Viewpoint, and now I can define my view angles. I can also show the model in the background, yes. And apply. So we can turn and rotate our model by 90 degrees. And now we create a new window and tile our screen vertically. So we have two windows next to each other. Now we can zoom in a bit to see the numbers a bit better. And now I choose here the bottom reinforcement. Okay, and now I can print it to the printout report by the printer button here. But now we don't choose multi-print, we click here on More and go then on the tab Window Arrangement here. And as you can see, when we have checked as on current screen, it's displayed like we have sorted our windows on our screen. Now we go back to General and click on Full Page Height to have it over the full page again. Okay, and then we click on Save and Show, and our graphic appears as combined graphics in the printout report. The next thing I'd like to show you is the part list. We have it here, and as you can see, it's split on 2 pages. That's not very good, and so I only click on the headline and select Start with New Page. So we have our full part list on the second page. This is now sorted by the material. We only have 2 materials, the steel and the concrete. So it's not a very long part list. If you have larger project, it's of course longer. It can happen that you cannot see the part list here. This could have 2 reasons. The first, you have not selected in the printout report settings at the beginning. Therefore, you can click on Edit Printout Report and go back and select your part lists here. But this is already selected and we already see our part list. Another reason why you cannot see it is that it's not calculated yet. Therefore, you go to Calculate and Generate Part List, and your part list will be generated. And you can then print it in the printout report. Now I'd like to show you some other things that can be printed in the printout report. For example, the result diagrams I shown you before. Therefore, I go back to result diagrams and for example, overlay both sections and overlap the results again and choose all my 4 longitudinal reinforcements and click on the printer image again and click on Print Graphics to print out. And then we can again change some general settings and save and show, and can print it in the printout report as well. and also see it here under results in the printout report. One other thing that might be interesting for you is you can also print the calculation of the design checks in the printout report. Therefore, you double click on the design check and see here on the right side the whole calculation, and you can print it also via the printer symbol in the printout report. What I also want to show you, I closed my report. Normally I have it on my second screen, but I closed it. The next thing I'd like to show you is how to translate the printout report in several languages. Therefore, you go on Edit, Set Language, and for example, we can choose German now. And now your whole printout report will be translated in the selected language, as you can see here. But now I go back to English again. Okay. You can also insert different items, for example, images from your file explorer, texts, or PDFs. I'd like to show you how to insert a PDF, for example, a card for earthquakes or wind zones or something else. I just downloaded one card from the Dlubal GeoZone tool. It's online. You can select your location and then download your card from the Dlubal website. And now we click on OK, and the PDF is added to the printout report. It's on the last side here. As you can see, we have our snow loads and wind zones and so on. But I want to have it on another position, so we can just move our objects by drag and drop and put it on the place we want to have it. I want to have it right on the... Oh, that didn't work, on the first position. Okay. And as you can see, we have it now here on the second pages of our printout report. Also in the printer settings, you can do also several settings for the cover. For example, you can remove the cover page, you can remove the preview image, and you can also add some information about the clients, the project, and something else. Also, when you go on other settings, you can remove the header and so on. Now I want to cancel because I don't want to print it now. Yeah, and that's it from my side to the result evaluation and the printout report. And now I'd like to give back to Andreas for some final words. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Michelle, for your nice presentation. I have an additional hint. You can book our online courses. For example, the FM6 Masterclass course. That's a course for beginners. Then the Eurocode 2 course for the reinforced concrete design with FM6. Eurocode 3 course for the steel design. Then the Eurocode 5 course for the timber design. And there are also course packages available. This package for the Eurocode courses and this package for the Eurocode courses and the AFM6 course. For more information, just scan the QR codes in the middle or press the link buttons on the bottom. You can download the slides from the same website where you can find the recording and the model. In the next days, you will get an email with a link to that page. Also, in additional information, you can get the single courses, the Eurocode 2, 3, and 5 course or the AFM6 course. That means one course for free when you send us a customer project. Just take a look at your projects that you have calculated with AFM or RSTAB. You can send me an email to info@dlubal.com and I will answer you what files I need for publishing. It's not much work for you, I promise. Okay. That's also all from my side for today. Thank you for your attention. Thanks to Michelle for the nice presentation. I wish all a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.